Hi, and welcome to A World of Code. Thank you for joining me for the SQL Query Jumpstart Guide. This will be part 1 in a series of courses focusing on Oracle SQL and PL SQL. In this video, I'll be talking about what this course will be covering, what you'll need to get started, and who this course is geared toward. Most of what is covered applies to most SQL databases. However, we will be covering some concepts specific to Oracle databases. These will, for the most part, be relegated to their own lessons dealing specifically with Oracle, and I will make it clear whenever we are dealing with one of these topics. This is meant to be a beginner-friendly course on SQL queries and is intended to jump directly into the meat of the topic. To this end, we will not be going over how to install or configure an Oracle database, but will instead use the free online resource SQL Fiddle for all of our examples. This will allow us to create databases for our lessons and begin writing queries without the need for lengthy setup. To build a database for use in SQL Fiddle, a script which defines our database must be executed in the schema panel on the left. For each lesson, I will provide the necessary script so you can follow along. There will also be challenge exercises included with each lesson. The answers to these will be discussed in extra videos, supplemental to the main course content videos. In this course, we'll be covering the basics of SQL queries. Here's what we'll be going over. What a SQL query is. How are data stored in an Oracle database? The 4 main types of queries, which include select queries for retrieving information from your databases, insert queries for adding, update queries for changing, and delete queries for removing. We're going to touch upon database schemas and synonyms, as these have an effect on how we write our queries. We'll cover joins, which allow you to pull data from multiple sources and join them together. The types of joins being inner, left, right, outer, and Cartesian. These names will make more sense when we go over them. We'll also spend a video talking about Oracle-specific join syntax. We'll talk about aliases and how they're used. And we'll go over a couple database design concepts, namely primary keys and foreign keys, mostly in relation to how they affect our queries. So who is this course for? This course is for those looking to get started with a basic understanding of SQL queries. You might be a student needing some extra instruction about queries as part of a course including databases. Maybe you're an employee and your work requires you to interact with a database. This can happen if you're a programmer and you need to write plain SQL queries, and this can even happen in non-programming roles. You might be in a department where your job is using Microsoft Access to interact with an Oracle database, and you want to understand more about it. Perhaps you're looking to master the use of Oracle databases, and this is just your first step along the way. Or this might be used as a refresher or quick reference guide, since none of the lessons or examples require lengthy setup or access to a full running database. You can jump to any point in this course and be up and running extremely quickly. Or you might have some other reason for being interested in SQL queries. Now let's go over what you'll need to participate in this course. For completion's sake, I'll point out that in a professional environment, you'd likely be using a much larger piece of software designed to connect and interact with your database directly. One popular example of such a program is Oracle SQL Developer, a free program provided by Oracle, providing you have an Oracle user account. Such a program can connect to and display your entire database, display the structure in a graphical manner, bring up tables, table metadata, explain the execution plan for queries, and much more. However, we won't be needing something so complex. SQL queries are plain text, so you don't strictly need anything. You could type and execute all your queries directly in SQL Fiddle if you chose to do so. If you want to save your work, you could even use Notepad. And in fact, I did my first semester of programming in university using only Notepad, so it's definitely possible to get going without any fancy software. However, there are much better options which offer many conveniences such as syntax highlighting, automatic formatting, shortcut keys, and IntelliSense. IntelliSense is the autocomplete you see with many of these text editors, though since we won't actually be connecting to a database, some of the benefits of IntelliSense won't apply to this course. I'll be leaving this very open-ended and won't dig into the specific features of any text editor, so you can make the choice that's right for you. If you're an employee or a student, you likely already have an editor you're comfortable with or are expected to use. For this course, I'll be using Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is a great modern editor. It bridges the gap between a simple text editor and one of the more powerful editors that I mentioned earlier, which are referred to as Integrated Development Environments, or IDEs. It's free and works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. That's everything we had to cover in this lesson. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on A World of Code.